In the same years, the total quarantine program 2005 was developed by Rothschild and Hatchett. The experience of quarantine on a military basis with the failing of these two scoundrels is transferred to the entire civilian population, and it is no coincidence that in 1996 and 2001, Saddam Mr. Rumsfeld headed the American biotechnology company cheap license with the research of the drug Tamiflu, which was bought by the Roche farm in 1996. After becoming minister, Rumsfeld retained a stake in this company. Thus, the Bush administration used the idea of general isolation for political and military purpose. 2005, avian influenza indiscriminately declared by WHO as something terrible already ahead of time, especially through the mouth of the expert on influenza, Mr. Osterhock, who presented to the public simply horrific pictures of the coming with tens of millions of victims of influenza. At the same time, the international medical regulations were adopted, delegating large powers to WHO in a case of an emergency. This is a certain order or behavior, the presence of WHO focal points in all countries of the world. Then, in the same year, WHO developed a scale of the danger of a disease in 6 phases, which is called the phases of preventing the danger of influenza pandemic and its mutations. Others say the marasmus grew stronger. The first phase is a low level of risk of infections. The second phase is a significant level of risk. The third phase is the infection of a new type of influenza. The fourth phase is transmission from person to person in rare cases. The fifth phase is the virus is not fully infectious. There are risks of pandemia. Some logic that I can simply can pass. The sixth phase is the pandemia period. The whole brew for satanic orgy is presented without clear criteria, which gives genocidal swindlers a lot of freedom for perverted fantasy. The sequences of actions of WHO and its subcommittees in the definition of WHO, the emergency committee meets and analyzes the impact of the current pandemic on every aspect of a person's life, and then a decision is made, out of which the Director General decides to declare an emergency situation. Such a scheme gives WHO the right to give the go-ahead to all structures at will. In 2009, what the great combinators had predicted, with voices from their bellies as early as 2005 finally broke out. The situation is avian flu disappointed them because as they failed to succeed, did not spend the scam. It came to naught, causing criticism from politicians and the public. Since huge quantities of vaccine were purchased with money from the pocket of taxpayers, and even a stupid 100 corpses were not available for presentation. Countries had to bear millions of dollars in losses again to destroy the useless vaccine. The swindlers again performed the classic ending, others say only sleight of hand and no deception, God forbid. But the benefactors of the entire human race have already got a test and claim that the next case will certainly happen 100 times more terrible. So get ready and prepare money not again but for that next time. And now in 2009, the swine flu is happening. The beginning of this performance, like the previous one, is the same according to the laws and canons of the actions over their girls on trust. Again, on the task of soccer. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. It began with a small village of La Gloria in the Mexican state of Veracruz, from where there are reports of only a few cases of the disease, human infection from a pig. Then similar incidents were recorded in the USA, and horses with bells rushed off. The WHO propaganda apparatus begins to escalate the situation with undisguised haste. Then the WHO raises the estimated risk all the way up to the 5th phase right by the day, and then, well, nothing. There's not even the smallest excuse. Then these girls in the human guise carry out a feint with furry ears and pork snouts. On May 4, 2009, on the side of CNN, in an article by the professor of environmental protection at Boston University, Olzunov, it states that the word pandemic only seems scary, but in fact is not. Refers to widespread disease, not a danger. The guy through was clearly blown away by the incessant desire to whip the cream again. In this regard, one of the CNN reporters drew attention to the discrepancy between the professor's statement and the WHO's definition of the pandemic is. Then Natalie Will, the press secretary of the WHO, calls the editorial office and declares about the erroneous definition of WHO, and that is was deleted because it is outdated and too gloomy. The WHO then announces the start of phase 6 on 11 June, and declares as a swine flu pandemic. The WHO press service publicly stated on the website of the medical journal Escape that in general the old definition of pandemia was only a description but not an official definition. You guys say misunderstood, and we acknowledge that it could be misinterpreted. Yes, we are to blame for the confusion, as it was said, between definition and description. It's a pity not to add. Forgive us, we will not be liars anymore. A logical question arises. What is now hanging on the WHO website? Description or definition? WHO President Madame Chang sang the same song. These events took place in 9 and 10, 2009 and 2010. But let's move on. All those years, Satan's fantasies have been creating a technological and ideological basis for terror and two decisive factors: persuasion, namely the illogicality of the rules; precisely terror, both facts working to break the human psyche. Already in 2015, a plan for 17 Sustainable Development Goals appears. 2015, September 15. Until 2030, and the next goal is to ensure a healthy lifestyle, well-being for every age, which involves supporting research on the development of a vaccine. As I understand it, we are talking about a vaccine happiness. Once ejected, and immediately you are happy, and then catch as much as you like. And of course, all this grace primarily of developing countries in their fight against infectious and other diseases, poverty and misery. For the aforementioned good purpose, WHO in May 16th makes a fundamental change in the issue of a cooperation with non-governmental organizations. From this moment, cooperation expands to commercial, non-governmental and philanthropic organizations, which give them the right to directly influence WHO's policy. In 16th as an initiative of Madam Chang, WHO member states agreed to develop and jointly adopt a health emergency burial program. Здравозахоронение. Like the current collapse of the post-capitalist financial pyramid scam, on which WHO has poured $500 million. What we are talking about, in addition to the technical and regulatory functions, WHO received operational capabilities with direct subordination to it of essentially all government, prostitutes and wallets of both genders in the difficult to define genders and commercial buy sell deceive structures. The issue of flexible financial response was also considered, and the sense of plundering public finances and corruption. In May 18th, for the implementation of the 13th General Program for 2013 and 2023 was a mission of WHO to strengthen and maintain security is indicated, strengthening its leadership role in a wider aspect. And it is not surprising that only 20% are contributions from WHO member states, while 80 of this Brazil comes from international commercial mafia structures such as the European Commission, the World Bank, etc. Well, get my idea, ladies and gentlemen. In a parallel with this, another criminal structure is being formed. The Global Readiness Monitoring Council. The question is appropriate. Readiness for what? The creators of this are WHO and the World Bank. The purpose of the Council is to describe and predict. In September 19th, the Council of the Godfathers of the Brazil, literally 2 months before the announcement of the pandemic, this Council publishes its first report to the world is under threat, social chaos. The world is not ready for such a threat. Further, lifelong prisoners again refer us to pandemic 1918, and for greater importance, the cover of the Escape magazine with the image of the coronavirus with a bird and in a woman's dress. The dress rehearsal of the next scam of bullshit, literally, a month later on October 19th, 2018, concocted for contributions to the common cause of an international gangster group. I repeat, contributions from its members: Bill Gates, the World Economic Forum, the Center of the Study of the Dangers of Being Healthy at Johns Hopkins University, conducts a famous rehearsal under the title Event 201, in which the entire